So first of all, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today here at Shutter 16 Magazine.
Of course, we're the honored ones. We're happy to be interviewed. So,
Awesome. I thought we could, of course, start by chatting about the new EP, Going Nowhere, because it's coming out very soon on the 29th. So, and I don't know who wants to take the question, but maybe you could each tell me a little bit about how this EP kind of came together.
yeah, Montana, do you want to start?
Sure. Um, we rarely look at when we start writing songs as like, okay, we need to, how is this gonna fit into the puzzle? You know what I mean? We look at each song kind of as its own, living its own life. And so we started writing songs after our last album, and just decided that we wanted to, instead of trying to build this big album, we just wanted to be releasing songs more often. And so as we started writing more songs, it kind of uh, naturally slid into what is now the four songs on the EP. And they all, it's funny, whenever we write a piece, everyone thinks that we are intentionally trying to write it around a theme of specific themes or specific ideas, but it all kind of comes out naturally, and then it somehow like fits into a piece as we build it. You know what I mean? It's like a built, like, design it as you build it puzzle. And so yeah, there's no specific rhyme or reason to it as we, like, at the beginning phase, but then as we went on, it became what it is now.
You want to add anything
Awesome.
to that, Brad, or?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback, I really like how this EP has such variety. You know, Montana said they do kind of glue together, but instead of trying to make it, one sound, one producer, one mixer, like focus on synth or focus on that or whatever. It's every song is just super different, and we just want to keep letting our fans know that we have a wide variety of music for them, fast, upbeat, slow and chill, whatever they want, even if it's just a few songs and stuff like that. So
Cool. How would you describe the new EP in just 3 or 4 words?
That's a tough one.
that is a tough one. Give me a
Um,
sec. Three.
Comfortable, energetic, um, and fun and deep, but deep. That's
Can
what I'm
can
going with.
can I do 3 or 4 consecutive words to build a sentence?
Sure, sure.
Let's hear it.
Um, Sometimes sad but hopeful.
Okay.
There you go. I like
That,
that.
that's actually that's kind of perfect. I think that's kind of perfect. What is your writing process like? Do you guys do it as a group, come up with ideas, or does one person just kind of bring something to the table and you guys all kind of get with it?
Yeah,
Like I said,
so
I
oh,
think.
go ahead.
Oh, Brad, you go.
Okay. So everyone is an equal member of the band, and so because of that, we end up starting songs in different ways. You know, I know some bands that have like the owner of the band, like the lead singer writes all the songs, but sometimes I'll come with a drum beat to Montana. Sometimes Montana wakes up in the middle of the night and writes, all these lyrics that are spinning through his head or whatever, but we're just open to if you have an idea and you bring it to the band, then we all kind of mess with it and build on that. And it seems like as soon as someone's out of ideas, then the next person like has a bunch of ideas to add to it. And so it's very collaborative.
Nice.
Yeah, every song kind of has its own growth cycle where, like, and it just, like I said earlier about how the EP kind of grew from, like a garden where it's like you don't really know where it's gonna go. Each song kind of does that too, where, like Brad was saying, one person brings in a little idea here or a little idea from this angle, and so every song kind of has its own process. There's not like a specific process that we have.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the recording because you guys are kind of self-doing this EP. So do you think that's been easier for you guys, or more difficult? Not like, say, designating a producer from a record label who's going to come in and kind of run the show.
We actually, for one of the songs on this EP, we had a very cool producer, Mike Sapone. We reached out to him a while back, and he was interested in working with us. And so we have another song and a half that he was worked with us on coming out after the EP. But for this EP, it's just the one song, "Don't Wait Up." And but other than that one, yeah, we've self-produced the other three, and just outsourced the mixing to some guy that we like, Joe Costable. And so it's very freeing to be able to have your own stamp on things, but it is also very daunting, because then you are at, if it fails, it's you. If it succeeds, you know what I mean. So it's like,
Sure.
it's very daunting, but we like the challenge of being in control of everything, because no risk, no reward.
Absolutely. Brad?
Yeah, our first three records have all been self-recorded, self-produced. We've outsourced drums for some of them just because drums are a little bit tricky, but we've always been
You still recorded them.
yeah. But we've always been big on DIY, not just because it saves money, but like I don't know, I've always been someone that I don't want to rely on someone to do something for me. And so if I can just learn how to do that, and maybe, the rest of the band has that mentality where, when we hire a producer, it's not because we need one, it's because we want one and we want, someone else's expertise and taste to kind of join the team temporarily to make something fun, rather than like, I'd suck at this and I need to pay someone to help it sound good. You know what I mean? Like, so I think Montana's the guy that does most of the magic. He's pretty much our producer and records 90% of our stuff as well. And so we're just blessed to have someone like him with all that knowledge and expertise, or we probably would have to outsource. So
That makes sense. I wanted to talk to you about Gold Pearl, the new single, because I feel like, as an older person, social media was not a thing, obviously, when I was a teenager, young adult. And now it's just such a huge part of everyone's life. And I think it can just be a wonderful thing, and it can just be the worst god awful thing ever. And I have 3 kids who've grown up in that era where that social media was, that's the thing. You get your cell phone, you go online. So tell us a little bit about that song and how that kind of came together specifically.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough that we kind of graduated high school right after smartphones became a thing, and like Instagram came up and that kind of stuff. Like all that happened. We had flip phones through high school, and so it's as the social media, the what people they call it doom scrolling. A lot of especially us fall into is just that lack of motivation and being stuck in um, how social media can just kind of suck you in and trap you, because it's so easy to just start scrolling and start looking at stuff, and it's all of a sudden you look and you spend 2 hours and you just lost part of your day, and so I just that a lot of times I just start playing chords and just singing whatever words come out of my mouth. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's gibberish nonsense, throw that away. But then for this song, the first thing that came up was the first line, that I want to throw my phone away. And that's kind of where it started, of just like, why do I have that feeling of wanting to throw my phone away? Because and then the next line, but sadly that's the old world, is like, you can't survive without a smartphone these days, right? Everything is accessed from the smartphones. Everything is you need a smartphone for just about everything you do in life nowadays, and so you can't really throw it away. Like, you have to have it, even though you want to get rid of it. Also, even if you don't absolutely need it, it's hard to get rid of, even if you want to, And so that's kind of where it started, and it just grew from there. And just my favorite line in the song is, I don't want to feel if
I don't want
I
to
forgot the
feel if
lyric.
I don't want to feel if it isn't real.
I can't remember the earlier part of it though.
Oh,
Um, anyways, but yeah, if it isn't real, because none of those feelings generated from your phone are real, genuine feelings of happiness or sadness or whatever. And so yeah, it kind of just grew from that.
Now, do you have a favorite song on the EP? And if so, why?
Brad, you go for it.
um, it's been changing, and I think you're probably familiar with like time bias. When you come up with a new song, you get so excited about it, and then as soon as you have a new one, you kind of are like, I like that new one. Going Nowhere is awesome. I remember like a long time ago in the band, I always talked about how I wanted a song like We Are the Titans. You know how they like repeat the lines, We are the Titans, mighty, mighty Titans. And it's like I always wanted something like that because it's so easy to sing along with, because as soon as it starts, your friend that doesn't know the lyrics can do the shout outs, and this song just kind of blended into that. I don't remember how. Maybe
Mhm.
Montana can chime in on that, but Going Nowhere I just think is so fun, and it has that chanty, repeatable chorus that just makes it fun for everyone. But I have been shifting towards Don't Wait Up. We've actually had that song written for how long have we had that written? Like a year and a half now, I feel like.
Probably 2 years now.
Crazy. And so I was listening to the demo of that like for so long to practice, and we played it at shows and stuff. And so when we did get it mixed, it didn't like wow me yet, but then as time has gone on, just these last few weeks, like I've really started to fall in love with Don't Wait Up, because I feel like it's just a fun song that people can really dance to, and it's energetic, it's upbeat and everything, and so I'm kind of a tie between those two.
And what about you, Montana? Do
For
you have a
me,
favorite track that sticks out for you?
it's hard because I don't think that there's a favorite track, but more so favorite parts of each song. I love how fun Going Nowhere is to play live. I love how Gold Pearl, it feels like I put a lot of myself and honesty into the lyrics on that one. So I love how that one came across. Nail Salon, I love the horns in it. There's really fun horns, especially when I play with that one live. We have our friends Bao and Cayman that come and play with us. Um, and it's a lot of fun with those horns. And then Don't Wait Up, the experience of working on it with Mike Sapone, as well as just the energy behind it. It's, you know what I mean. There's different favorite parts. If I had to pick, I would probably go with Going Nowhere, just because it's kind of like a complete package, in my opinion, of what our sound is.
Okay,
But yeah, different favorite parts on all the songs.
that's fair. That's perfectly understandable. They're all your babies. Now, you said your favorite song to play live, so let's talk about some live shows. And you've got a little tour coming up to support the new EP. So, kind of tell us a little bit about the Cinders experience. What can someone expect when they come out to see a show?
Um, our initial like motto when we were a band was go hard, or what was the second half of
Go
it? You
hard or
guys,
go home, or we're not friends anymore.
oh, we're not friends anymore. Uh, and so we just felt like we were seeing so many bands that had awesome music and they performed well, but it was like boring to watch. And so we feel like we put a lot of energy, cardio, thought into our shows to make every song fun, dancey, like do something quirky. We always talk about creating these moments that, someone can go home with and remember. Uh, some people go to a concert and they come home and it's like, how was the concert? It's like, oh my gosh, it was so good. And it's like, oh, cool. Like, why was it good? And there's like, it was just so good. They played all my favorite songs. Where with us, we want people to go home and like, what was your, like, how was the concert? And it's like, oh my gosh, they did this thing and like the drummer stood up and like Montana came to the front and played the accordion. I had no idea he played the accordion. And then Adrian came out in the crowd and totally laid down on the ground. Like they share all those cool moments that make it so fun and unique. And so we just try to create those moments to really make it memorable and lasting for people.
That's really cool because as someone who attends a lot of concerts in a lot of different genres, small shows, huge shows, that is what you will remember about a show. You are 100% right. You will remember those moments, those special things, and the audience interaction, with the artist. Those are the things that the people, when I'm walking out of a show, are talking about and, texting their friends about and chatting with their friends about as they're leaving the show. Like, oh my God, he did this or she did this, and it's so cool. So I love that you guys like make a point to bring that and not just, if it happens, it happens. That's great. Sometimes those are great moments too, but to go out of your way to, try to get those moments for the people attending the shows, that is amazing.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
20
Yeah,
ever since I saw 21 Pilots put their drums on the audience and all I did was tell people about that, I was like, dang,
Yes.
we need to up our game, you guys.
They are so cool. Yeah, they do an amazing performance. They put on a show and get everybody involved.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like and it's not always just like the go hard moments, right? Like we actually talked about this last week with we want a moment where people can, sit still and feel something from an emotionally moving song. We want them to be able to sing along with the song. We want them to go, wow, that was nuts. You know what I mean? And we want them to have every kind of moment and not just these guys are crazy, these guys are crazy, these guys are crazy.
That's awesome. That is
I
amazing.
was just gonna add too, because we're as much as we're musicians and love playing music, it, in our opinion, gets kind of stale if you're not doing more than that. And so if we're just playing music, it's like it's just copy paste every show, and it gets a little bit stale. And so that's why we love doing these extra things, not only for the crowd but for ourselves. It's way more fun for ourselves to be able to like have more dynamics to the show than just playing the music.
Now, after this run of dates is over, do you have anything else in the works coming up, maybe for the summer or moving into the fall time?
Yeah, we talked earlier about with Mike Sapone, we worked on a couple more songs with him. And so those are pretty much recorded. We're just working on, some post-production and mixing, mastering. So we do have a few singles that will be dropping afterwards, and we'll probably be doing a small tour in the fall or in the fall. Yeah, in the fall. And just kind of going from there. We're trying to commit to just constantly releasing new music at least every 3 to 6 months after our long 3 year span. It's hard to get a full record out, but nowadays with the singles it's easy to just work on a song and get it out. And so we just want to stay prevalent, and I think these next couple songs are going to be really special as well.
Awesome. I really love the EP. I had never heard your music before, so I was going in, with no expectations, no anything. And it's not even my favorite kind of music, honestly. Just being honest, so that you know where this is going. This is not an insult coming. So I listened to it and I'm like, I'm gonna listen to it again. And then I was like, wow, this is really amazing. This is really good. This is really good. This is the kind of show that I've been to where all the 20 somethings are in the front and they're screaming and they're crying and they're laughing and they're hugging their girlfriends and it's just, yeah, it's really great. I was so impressed with the EP and I'm so glad I got the chance to listen to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Now, before I let you go, I want to ask one more question. What is the one thing that you want people to know about your music?
It's a great question. It's a hard one because that's a question that could probably take 10 minutes to answer.
Right?
There's so much to it. We've been playing music for over, individually for over a decade, and in the band for close to that. And so I would say, just being, because what Brad kind of put into his 3 or 4 word of describing the EP is what'd you call it?
Sometimes sad but hopeful.
Sometimes sad but hopeful. But I feel like that's everybody, and so what I want people to get out of it is just being okay with being honest about yourself. And I think that, you know, as much as it's fun to write a song that's inspiring and it uplifts you to be a different or a better person or whatever, it's also really helpful to know that someone else is going through what you're going through. And when you know, as musicians, it's hard to write honestly. And so, because, you know, it's like, that's yourself. You don't want to put your journal out onto the internet, you know? But I think the more you do that, the more people can relate, and because it's hard to relate to something that's not completely honest. And so what I want for people to get out of this is to feel like whatever they're going through is they're not doing it alone, and that being honest with yourself and with others about what you're going through, where you're at, is always the best way to do it.
Brad?
I think he said it best. I think the one word that just comes to my mind is the genuineness. You know, we don't have 40 writers on our music. We're not writing about how fun it is to go to the club. You know, we're writing about serious stuff that people should relate to, and we're trying our hardest to be ourselves and be genuine, and we want people to see that and feel that.
Fantastic. And it shows. It shows when you listen to the music. It really does.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time again to chat with me today. It was a pleasure. And I really did think the EP is amazing. I can't wait for everybody to hear all the songs on it. And I can't wait to hear what you've got coming down the line.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
Bye.